Steve Koski, host of Papa Steve's Rebel 1100 Garage, where we show do-it-yourselfers how to maintain your motorcycle. Let's get greasy. I hope you have already watched Curse of the 600-Mile Chain Maintenance, where I hammer Honda for making Rebel 1100 owners do chain maintenance every 600 miles. Then I demonstrate how to clean and lubricate your chain. The next step in the chain maintenance process is to check your chain tension and to adjust it if it needs to be adjusted. Here's what you'll need to check your motorcycle's chain tension and make adjustments. First, you'll need a motorcycle with 140-year-old chain technology. That's my Honda Rebel 1100 DCT. Second, you need the following stuff: a 17mm box end wrench to loosen and retighten the chain adjuster lock nuts before torquing them, a 27mm socket on a breaker bar, a 5mm Allen wrench. I use a T-handle wrench that I bought as part of a set at Harbor Freight, $40. The T-handle provides excellent control over the adjuster. A tape measure, or, better yet, a Motion Pro Slacksetter Pro chain tension gauge. The Slacksetter is more convenient than a tape measure because you can set a 0 point before you measure the slack in the chain. I'll include a link in my content section to a YouTube video that explains how to use it. A torque wrench. One works. I own two and use both, a 3/8 inch and a 1/2 inch. The 3/8 inch torque wrench with a 17mm crowfoot I use to torque the lock nuts on the chain adjusters. The 1/2 inch with a 27mm socket I use to torque the rear axle nut. Torque settings for the Rebel 1100 are 15 foot-pounds for the lock nuts, 74 foot-pounds for the axle nut. I'll put this information in the content text for the video. Here's the chain tension process. Honda says to measure chain tension with the motorcycle leaning over on the kickstand. I put a tape measure on the ground midway between the sprockets, then pull up the tape until the bottom of the chain is at an even number, say 2 inches. Then I lift the chain until it pulls tight, then look at how far up the tape measure the chain goes. Mine goes 1 1/4 inches. Honda says the correct tension for the 1100 is 9/16 inch to 1 inch play. I need to adjust it. For good measure, I also used the Slacksetter to measure the tension. It showed 25mm of slack. The Rebel 1100 tolerance is 15 to 25mm, so my chain is just about out of tolerance. To adjust the chain tension, I first loosen the rear axle nut with the 27mm socket. Prevent the chain adjusters from moving with the 5mm Allen wrench. Then with the 17mm open-end wrench, loosen the lock nuts at the end of the left and right swing arms. You don't need to remove the lock nuts. Turn the adjusters with the Allen wrench in small increments, an equal amount on both left and right side. A good place to start is 1/4 turn on each side. Check the chain tension again. If it falls within 9/16 inch to 1 inch, or 15 millimeters to 25 millimeters with the slack setter, you can tighten up the lock nuts and axle nut. On both sides, using the 5 millimeter Allen wrench, hold the adjuster in position. Then tighten the lock nuts with the 17 millimeter open end wrench. I use a 17 millimeter crowfoot on my torque drive to do this next part. After both nuts are snug, prevent the adjusters from turning with the Allen wrench again. Then use the torque wrench to tighten the lock nuts to 15 foot-pounds on both sides of the motorcycle. Use the 27 millimeter socket on the torque wrench to retighten the rear axle nut. Torque it to 74 foot-pounds. With all the nuts tightened down, check your chain tension again. If it's within Honda's tolerance, you're done. If not, redo it. Congratulations! Your Rebel 1100 chain is adjusted for the next 600 miles. Now you can drink another beer and listen to my reading of the Charge of the Light Brigade. After drinking those 2 beers while cleaning and lubricating your chain, and after listening to my stirring reading of Tennyson's poem while drinking your 3rd beer, if you're not too tipsy to ride now, let's go cruising. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd be delighted if you would subscribe to Cruisin' with Papa Steve. If you don't, I'll be just another codger talking to himself on the internet.